Okay, so now we're going to build the main part of the stock. So step 27, you need page 10, and we're just going to pop the main parts out of page 10. So most of the parts here are required to make the stock. So pretty much every piece that's left on page 10 you can pop out. Okay, page 10 is done. Okay, so we'll start with what's on step 27, which is to glue SD and SE together. So again, oops, it looks like I've torn the paper there. So if you do that, just a little bit of super glue behind, and that'll stick that piece of paper back down. That's why we, again, always tell you to push through from the coloured side to the white side in case that does happen. Okay, so you're going to glue SD and SE together. So just flip those two over, a little bit of super glue on the glue tab, and then put those two together. There we go. Sorry for my head, I'm just making sure everything's lined up. So now you've got the kind of two sides of the base of the stock together, so they'll wrap around the plastic stock in a few minutes. Okay, so now we're going to move on to kind of step 28, and you'll need pieces S, F and FG for this. So we're going to take those out of, what's it, page 8 and page 10. And so F8 is on page 8, and the one's on page 10, and actually on page S8, while you're getting there, just take those two other pieces, so SL and SR you can take out as well, because we're going to use those in a little bit. Okay, so first of all we're going to glue on SF, so that's the kind of the front part of the stock. So just take the piece that you've already created. Okay, I'm just going to glue this to the front like this. Alright, so that's going to kind of pull the front all together. So first of all, glue the middle. And what we suggest is we're going to try and close up sort of one side of it before we wrap it around the stock. So we're going to glue that down there. Okay, apply some glue to the other side. Again, normally for each of these glue marks, a couple of dabs, and that should be enough to hold everything in place. So again, glue those two sides, and that's kind of the first stage of sort of step 28 done. Okay, now we're going to attach the back section of the stock. Okay. So again, what we're trying to do is to kind of glue on one side so that you can fold it around the stock and then kind of close the lid, as it were. Okay, so again, fold all of these glue tabs up. There's one little screw hole that needs to get removed there. Okay, so fold all of those tabs. So we're going to glue those. So we start with the middle piece. Again, apologies for my head, I'm just trying to make sure that everything's lined up. Okay, so glue the middle section first, and then glue one side, okay? So we're going to fold that down and we're going to glue this one side shut. Okay. So there we go. So we've applied the glue. Apologies, I must have edited that out. So we've applied all the glue, and we're just going to stick that down like that. Okay. So you're kind of creating the shell really of the stock piece. Okay. So now we're going to move on to step 28, which is the sort of inside of the stock. Okay. So again, take the take the small inner piece, fold all the glue pieces in on themselves, because that's what you're going to use to stick everything down, and this kind of folds around the inside of the stock. Okay, so again, I'm trying to open this so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so apply glue to the inside, along the inside of the stock. And there you go, and then that will stick down. You can kind of see the sizes of the glue correspond to the kind of angles of that piece. Okay. A little bit fiddly because there's already a fair number of pieces being glued together, but once you've got it in there, it should stay in quite nicely. There you go. So you stuck that in. So now you're ready to kind of wrap that around the stock of your extinction. Okay, so take your model, so you can kind of see where that's going to go. Okay, so this piece is going to go on the inside, and then you're going to put this screw hole through the outer piece, through that piece, and then into the plastic when you're done. Okay, so you're going to take your kind of shell that you've now built and put that around the stock like that, and now we're just going to glue that and then screw that in place. Okay, start with the top and you can glue it in place so that front tab sticks everything down. Okay, I've found a screw. So what I'm going to do now is take that screw, first of all put it through the outer part of the stock, and then through the underside part, and then I'm going to screw that all into the plastic. Again, apologies for my head, I'm just trying to see so I can line everything up. So then get your screwdriver and just screw all of that into place. It's kind of in a slightly different order that's mentioned on the pack, on the instructions, but you know, when you make these things a few times, we kind of change things around a bit to make things perhaps a little easier. Okay, so now we're going to close the lid. Okay, so just apply a bit of glue to each of that side, and we're just sticking that down. Okay, so just flip it over and then glue the bottom section on each side down. Okay, so again, just make sure you've got that kind of, there's a slight little angle there, just so glue it down so it follows the angle, and do that on both sides. There we go, just glued that down. Okay, now we're just gluing, basically closing the stock up. So glue those two parts into place. Normally glue one after the other. Okay, so gluing down one side and then folding the other side over just to keep the stock in place. Okay, so once you've now closed up your stock, and all that's glued together, we're now going to add the 2 extra parts, which are from step 31, so they're from page 8. I did say that you can pull those out early if you haven't already done so. Just go and grab those. This step's pretty easy. You just fold the top and the bottom back on themselves. Okay. Okay, so you glue these two together. Okay, so you'll find that the front of this piece has got a raised bit at the top, and that's going to slot in to the piece of the stock that you glued together before. If you glued it right to the edge, you might find you'll have to open it up a little bit with a craft knife, or snip those 2 bits of the front off. Okay, so if that's been too securely glued, just kind of open that up again. Just with a knife, pair of scissors, just get a little gap in there so that you can push the so you can push the card in later. Okay. So, or you can just cut the tops off, whichever you prefer. Okay. Right, so we just need to glue the top and bottom of those pieces, and then they'll slot in. So just kind of test that you've got enough space in there. There you go. So that'll slot in there nicely. Okay, you can see how that kind of just eases in. So if I've opened up enough space. Okay, so just a little bit of glue to the bottom, to the top even. There we go. Glue the top, and then a little bit of glue to the bottom section as well. So once you've glued that in place, and make sure it's solid, you can just add the little bits of detail. So there was the little circles that we popped out earlier. They can be added to the side. If you didn't add the grip parts earlier, I think I did them earlier on in the video, that you can put those on now. So just a little bit of super glue. Just make sure you've got the correct piece on the correct side. So there's one light circle, one dark circle. Just add those to the correct side, and just try and match up the pattern. Okay, so that basically concludes step 32. Next up, the magazine.